forgot about your point.
So if I have other questions.
Yeah, right. No, that makes sense to me. See, I got these teams on mine.
If I go to eat the.
What is it, by Ricky? Yeah. Right. Yeah, I just looking at these things. Yeah, you bought it, you know it, real drive. I forgot all about those one-wheel stayers. My wife loves her guy. She absolutely loves her. No, I'll see you later. But I'm just talking about it. There's a big difference.
This car will run RSA's on it, so they told me to leave mine all year round.
She's got this cool thing on her. I don't like the tire. She said they could drive.
But she probably does it.
She's happy, I'm happy. I don't drive it, so we go somewhere, I take Blazer. I'd rather take that.
I put that in there by mistake, Melissa. You don't have to fill that.
Yes, sir. It is now 7 o'clock, call the meeting to order. Rise to the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Here.
Jackie?
Here.
Clark?
Here.
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 I have one change to the agenda under action items. C, restore campground manager access to reservation system. It's the only change I have. Need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make the motion.
I'll support. Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Need a motion to approve the minutes of December 9, 2015 regular board meeting.
Just got a typo in there, Rachel, on the last Zelenak.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes. Or
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Any public comment? No public comment. Police report, Scott.
Great, thank you. Should have two reports in front of you. Typically, you'll see one for December, and you'll also see one for the year end. We'll go through December 1st. Pretty typical month, nothing too major going on. A lot of time spent on background investigation. Window night was a success, a lot of people through town. Pretty much everything's right there in front of you. Any questions on December?
When you say what it says on there, liquor inspections, what does that
Um,
entail?
We have to, or not, we don't have to, but we do one liquor inspection per establishment per month. So it's just more of stopping
Per
in
month, okay.
per month. So they get to see us, we get to see them, it's more of a PR type deal thing. Annually, we get money back from liquor control for doing inspections, for doing like the VFW permits and stuff like that. So years ago, LCC used to do all of that. They would send an inspector, but because of cost and 83 counties, they kind of left it up to the local departments. So you'll see somewhere in our budget that there's money that we get from LCC, a couple $1,000 or something like that. So it's just, I think it's a good thing to show that we're in and out of there, having some contact with business owners. So they're not violations, they're just contacts and making sure that they're, okay and within, have their license posted and stuff like that, so.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions for December? Okay, the second one you'll see is just the year-end report. I won't bore you with the details, but it just kind of will break everything down as far as what we handled for the year. We handled probably, 697 complaints for the year, which was a 8.1% decrease over 2014, but yet we had less help, so just less part-time help. I think the difference was like 70 complaints or something like that, so. And if you look below that, it'll show that, we averaged about 4.46 hours per week of part-time help, so. Hopefully with getting a new person on board, we'll jump that back up to about 8 to 16 per week, so.
Scott, what do you think the difference between 2014 and 2015 number of citations issued, 67 compared to 39?
I'm sorry.
First, on the year end, 2015.
Citations issue?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just getting nicer. I guess it depends. I mean, I issue the citations based on, I guess, what, what the stops are. Maybe they were just more civil infractions versus more misdemeanors or whatever, so. I did notice that our stops are down too, just because, we usually make traffic stops when we have, I hate to say this, nothing else to do. It's not a top priority. We, obviously are handling complaints first of all and stuff like that. We get free time to run patrol and stuff like that. That's kind of where we come up with the stuff, so.
Thank you.
It's somewhere down the road, I guess I could show you what they were for. It would break it down versus how many were speeding tickets, how many were misdemeanors, citations, stuff like that, so.
Cool, thanks.
Any other questions? Great, thanks guys.
Sam, DPW?
Everybody should have a copy of DPW operations. Number 8, you can scratch that off. I never did get to the lights. It started snowing. So all we've been doing is plowing snow. Number 11, new MOR. MOR stands for Monthly Operating Report. Since we started putting chlorine back in the water, I got an 8-page report I got to fill out at the end of the month. How many pounds of chlorine we put in, how many pounds of phosphates we put in. We break it down to parts per million and parts per billion. And number 13, the water main repair down on Maple Street and Lake. We had to hire Buckman's to do the excavating on it because we never could shut the water main completely down. So what I have done is I got a hold of Jennifer Hodges. We found some more valves in the process of trying to shut this water main completely down. So we got them marked out. My hydrant map and my valve map for the street maps hasn't been updated in 10 years. So I'm going to have Jennifer Hodges give me a price on updating that water map, and then we're going to pencil in where the new valves are at, all the new footnotes that are on the map. And they're also going to do a hydrant analysis up on the north end of town, because we come back on our hydrant study from ISO, and the DEQ said that we have a low volume pressure area up in the north end of town. Well, what we found out was we had another valve closed that nobody even knew about. When they tied Hanley Lake Cove in on the south end to the 6-inch cast iron main, nobody ever opened up the valve. So it's been closed ever since it's been tied in. Which would make a huge difference on the volume of water up on the north end of town. So Jennifer is...
It's open now.
It's open now, oh yeah, yeah. Plus, like I said, we found other valves, but we still never isolated that main. So when we found that out the day before that we couldn't isolate it 100%, that's when I went ahead and called Buckman's in, because I knew that we'd have to have their excavator to dig the hole. And from the time we broke ground to have the hole filled back in, it was 4 hours, which I thought was very good on that main.
Very good.
The water was basically out for about 2.5 hours, with what few people were on. And we didn't have to do a boil water ban because we're chlorinating water now, so it's an emergency repair, as long as you put chlorine in, everything's fine and up and running. Any questions?
Chlorine and phosphate, the only thing we put in the water?
Yes.
Okay.
And the chlorine's just going in until March, right? 6 months.
If the board wants to take it out, we'll take it out. If they don't, we won't. Yeah, no, it's gonna be one of them deals.
I thought it was a 6-month deal.
Well, it's right back to, if we take it out, you may start getting, remember I had a tough time getting a clean Bacti sample, same thing. And on the 6-inch cast iron main that was broke, I talked to Larry a little bit, the outside of the main had hardly any rust on it whatsoever. And I figured it was put in 1964, so it was in very good shape, extremely good shape. And it was just a shear crack, straight, perfectly straight.
Thanks for getting up 2 AM on Christmas Eve, making sure those generators were working there. I appreciate that one.
Anything else for Sam? Thank you.
Thank you.
Corey, EDA?
I've been out of town since, most of the time since our meeting, so I've not had a chance to put together a report, but we did accept a couple resignations off the EDA board. We also started making plans for the farmer's market, and I believe we discussed Main Street, and we tabled our budget for the next meeting.
Any questions for Corey? Thank you. I have no correspondence. Committee reports, Rob, streets.
Nothing on lights, sidewalks, the paint is chipping out in front of the grocery store, we're aware of that. Obviously, we can't do anything until spring for that. We're still taking bids on the street paving that I showed you last year. And that is it.
We're doing our best to lock in those rates once we get them, right?
As soon as we get our bids in, we're gonna lock it down.
Sewer, water, Brian?
Everybody should have one bid from Arc Electric for the generator for well 2A. The bid is $26,542. Sam's waiting on another bid from Bridgeway Power, and then we'll compare the two bids.
Brian, I believe I asked the same company for 2 bids. If I'm not mistaken, Graham Electric owns Bridgeway out of Gaylord.
No, Bridgeway bought Graham out.
Bridgeway,
Because Graham out of Traverse City is the one that quoted me.
Graham,
When I called the guy in Gaylord, he said, didn't they take care of you in Traverse City? So I may not even get that bid out of Gaylord.
Bridgeway and Gaylord isn't associated the same anymore. Graham's had an open beat clause, and when that closed out, they reopened the store.
So I may not even get, because his exact words, didn't the guy in Traverse City already take care of you?
Let's see if you get another one.
So, yeah, I'm still gonna try to get another one. And I don't know who else to even go to ask for a bid for that size generator. Well, you gotta bid the generator too, it's not just one thing. And the odds are they're gonna go to somebody like Graham Electric and have Graham Electric come in and size the well. Because it's a 6.8 liter diesel motor, they got bid for it. So,
We're not approving that in this year's budget anyway, it's next year's budget.
If you were to get them, sometimes you can't get them.
So we got time to get another one. That's all I got, thanks.
Okay.
Sam, a question on the generator, you're looking at diesel, this is
it's
the
natural
2A.
gas.
Huh?
It's natural gas generator.
Oh, okay.
It's not diesel, just a 6.8.
Oh, okay.
Liter.
That's
Right.
where I was going.
Yeah, 6.8 liter,
Right, natural gas has.
natural gas. Yeah.
Okay.
Law enforcement, Bill?
The law enforcement committee met and did interviews for 3 part-time, or for a part-time officer, and based on the interviews, the law enforcement committee agreed that background investigation should be done on Terry McGee. And during the past month, the background investigation was conducted by Mr. McGee, which the Law Enforcement Committee has had the opportunity to review and discuss. And as a result of the background investigation, the Law Enforcement Committee agreed to offer the vacant position of police officer, the part-time police officer, to the, for review, for the council's approval anyway, so it's Mr. Terry McGee. So that's where we are on that.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Melissa?
Mine is pretty short and sweet. I just wanted to thank you guys again for funding that master planner course. I finished it, got my certificate. That was one of the hardest exams I've probably taken. I wanted to let you know that I met with Panel Antrim, the director for that group, and she would like to meet with the Parks Committee, and then after meeting with us, give a presentation to the board. I'm working on a survey that I'd like to bring forward to the group at the next meeting, just about general communications issues, and that's all I have for tonight.
Joe?
Pretty much working, getting the budget numbers together, helping out with that. I did some research on hunting on village property, which you guys will see in old business there. You should see a case deal or a thing in your packet that was on that. And then researched some other policies that were looked into. I also presented in the packet a just rough draft of an employee evaluation form that you guys asked me to do. And that's about all I have.
Leila, Parks and Public?
Well, it's pretty quiet right now. We won't have anything further for another month or so.
Okay. My report. There's been, as Corey's announced, that there's been 2 resignations on the DDAPC board. One of them being Melissa, who's our representative. If there is somebody who would like to volunteer to sit on that board, please get a hold of Corey. That goes for the board as well as anybody in the audience. If you live in town, you've got a pretty good shot of making it.
Both of the outside of town seats are filled, correct?
Correct. I had a conversation with Dan Leonard from MEDC for the Rising Tide program. There will be a final meeting the week of the 25th in the afternoon of one of those days. I don't know what days yet. Everyone will be invited to that meeting. There's the rough draft of their document that they're going to provide to us is supposed to be sent to me on Friday. I'll be surprised if it is, but that's what he told me. And I hope to get that document out to as many people who have attended the meeting in the past. So they'll have some idea of what the meeting will be about on the week of the 25th. So it's winding down, depending on what they say. I don't know how much is going to get ramped up again, but anyway. There has been some requests to change committee assignments, and I refused to do that midterm. The next time they will be reevaluated and reassigned will be probably in December, so unless something happens. Beyond that, I think everything else on my sheet is for later, so that's all I have. Anybody have any questions for me?
The only thing I was gonna have is ramp, but that's in old business, I'm sure.
Yep. Okay. Approval of the bills. Need a motion motion to approve the prepaid of $6,256.10, the payroll of $6,433.01, the payables $9,472.99. The total approved of $22,162.10.
Motion to pay the bills.
Been moved and supported by Chapman and Bodley to pay the bills. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Conley,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Walt,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yep.
Zelnit,
Yes.
Becker.
Yes. Okay, new business, 2016 council meeting dates. Should have done this last month, but we didn't, so we'll do it this month. And nothing has changed, second Wednesday of the month, so office hours posted 7:45 to 3:45, Monday through Thursday, summer hours, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4. It's not under action, we probably should have a motion to do it though. It's under new business and should have been an action item. There again, they're for publication, I don't think it's necessary, it's just,
I'm all good with it.
Yeah.
If you need a motion, I'll make it, if not, then we'll go forward.
I don't think we do, we're gonna publish those,
We didn't
our
write
meeting dates, we're good, so. Nothing's really changing, it's just a yearly paperwork requirement. Action items. Approve recommendation for part-time police officer. Scott, would you like to introduce him?
Yes, actually, before I do that, every one of you, I got a chance to meet with everyone to show them the background report that I did, so, which was pretty inclusive. This is Terry McPhee. I'll give him a chance to tell you a little bit about himself and why he thinks he should be the guy for the job. How's that?
No, I should have read off my letter. You guys should have a copy of the letter that I made up to you. But I come from a small community also. I'm originally from Boyne City. I live in between Boyne City and Jordan now. So I know what it takes to make a small community work as a unit. And I like to feel small communities. It always feels like home. I'm a family person. I have 6 kids. So I know what it's like to have family too. So that's the most important thing to me is my family, my kids. Just completed the police academy in November. I excelled in college, being on the dean's list and then the president's list just recently that I got recognition from the police academy. So I'm pretty excited about that, all while still working and making sure my 5 kids all still do really good in school. But I like to think of myself as somebody that has a lot of common sense and is very fair. So I think those are the good qualities to have in law enforcement, is to be fair. And questions or anything for me?
I do think you have a good sense of humor. I found that today.
Thank you, ma'am. So,
I was pleased to read your background check. Very nice, thank you.
oh, thank you. I haven't even read it yet, so. I'm sure the chief did a very good job on it. So,
Yes, you did.
if he did, because I'm here, so. He found out how wonderful I am too.
Thank you. Need a motion to accept the recommendation of the
I'll support.
committee. Who made the motion?
She made it, and I
Melissa?
supported.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried unanimously and welcome.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Welcome aboard, Jerry.
And I really do appreciate the opportunity to be in the community too.
Action item number, letter B, approve recommendation for deputy clerk. Rachel, would you like to talk to that? You talking that, Joe's talking to that?
As everybody knows, that we talked with Rachel about getting a deputy clerk. Rachel's agreed, she did some checking, ran a couple of names by us. This last one that she ran by us, I believe that the personnel committee thought was real promising, and that is Maggie Mull. As you all have a letter, I'm sure, in your packets. I'm the only one that's got a letter, okay.
Well, let me stop you right there. That's my wife, so I'll abstain from any discussion.
There you go. That's a good idea.
Oh.
You're smarter than you look.
There you go.
All right, so Rachel contacted Maggie. I also did in some texts back and forth, and so she met with Rachel and here in the office. Rachel kind of went over job duties of what she was thinking and how everything would play out. Maggie apparently agreed that this was something she would like to pursue, so she wrote the letter. This is, "Hi Rachel, just in case there are some inquiries as to my qualifications during the meeting, here is some info for you. I have a bachelor's degree in nursing and a master's degree in education. I have computer skills. I am comfortable working with the public as evident by my career in nursing and teaching. I work as a substitute teacher or substitute secretary for Central Lake Public Schools on a regular basis, and I am familiar with the council form, working as a secretary for the planning commission, then serving on the planning commission herself. I hope this helps Maggie." So Rachel is making a request or a recommendation that we approve Maggie Mull for deputy clerk.
I'll make that motion too.
I'll support it too.
Beautiful.
Been moved and supported, any further discussion? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Again, unanimous with one abstention. I assume you abstained on that.
Yes.
Good choice.
Letter C was added. I'm asking the board to restore the campground manager's access to the reservation system, but with stipulation. Stipulation is that he will sign a statement that so long as he signs a letter acknowledging he is not performing village services during the off-season period, that access to the reservation system does not constitute services on behalf of the village, and that he will not be compensated for merely having access to the reservation system. If he finds issues with reservations, he is to resolve them by contacting the clerk. So I just think it's important that Lyle stay in touch with the system during the off-season so he can get a feel for who's coming, not coming. If he does find anything in his monitoring of that system during the course of the winter that needs repair, then he calls Rachel and the two of them work it out.
So you said the word restore, which implies he's had it in the past?
No, that
So
implies
it's-
that he had, restore implies that he had it while he was employed and has not had it since he
He's
left.
never had it in the winter,
Okay, but he's had it while he was employed.
but never in the winter.
Okay,
If I can ask a question, in this letter that he's going to sign or he would sign, is that a legal document done by Brian? Is that?
it can be.
Because my question comes is this, the reason that we went the way we did with this and he doesn't have that access is the fact that it is a seasonal employment, and if he performs any work for us outside of that season, we then lose our seasonal employment status, which means we now have to pay him, we would have to pay him unemployment, we would have to pay all the things that we don't pay by having seasonal status. Understanding that the letter may subside that, I don't know, but we would, I think we need to know the legal aspects of that
The
before.
the letter that was provided by Brian Grant, the stipulations.
All right, has Lyle agreed to this?
Lyle has not been, I have not
You
contacted
have
him
not
yet.
counted
No.
it yet? Okay.
I wasn't going to open up the
Has,
can of worms to him until I figured out what the board was gonna do.
Should we check with the employment board there first to find out if they will accept it? Because they're the ones who are gonna revoke our seasonal status if they find out.
We can do that.
Well, that's about step C. What changed all of a sudden that we needed to have access in the wintertime? Did something change?
My opinion that he should have access while he's not here. That's what's changed.
I think I've heard him express before when he was gone that it was a challenge, so I can be supportive of this idea.
I talked to Lyle probably in December, and he said that he cannot check the reservation system because his password was taken away. People are calling his phone, his cell phone, checking on reservations to try to get into the website for the winter, and he doesn't have access to it anymore. He would just like access to it, so people calling on the website.
How are they calling his cell phone? His cell phone was put on standby.
They're calling his personal cell phone.
Okay.
So if he agrees that we don't pay him for his looking at the website in his off hours, is that the
That's
issue
That's what you
basically
want.
by acknowledging he is not performing village services during the off-season period. That access to the reservation system does not constitute services on behalf of the village, and that he will not be compensated for merely having access to the reservation system. That's the attorney's recommendation for this to happen. So that's not my words, those are Brian Graham's words.
I think mostly it's for his personal, because if he's gotta deal with these people, it's better that he can if they can contact him when they need to. And he's not getting compensated for it, I'm all for it.
He just wants access like he has in the
Yeah.
summertime,
Mm-hmm.
when people contact him,
Right,
to be able to get on,
right.
just like he does in the summer.
Mhm.
So no credit card information is gonna be taking place? Is he gonna be taking credit card numbers over the phone?
If he's gonna be making reservations, he almost has to be able to.
But I'm not sure that he's gonna be making we can stipulate that he not make reservations.
I'm really uncomfortable, somebody
Why don't we
that's
just
not
tell
here.
him to refer the people to the office where everything can be done? I see with what Rob's saying, if he doesn't have that access to make the reservations,
How can,
why have him even have access to it to begin with?
Why was he allowed to take the laptop home with him then?
He should have taken the laptop home. He never has before, it's always been here in the office.
He
I
took
don't
it
know why.
home with- He took it home with him this last night.
And I don't know why, it's always been here. The phone always stayed here, the laptop stayed here, everything stayed here. For some reason, this time he took it.
If he's accessing, he's just going to look at, he's not looking to make reservations, he's just looking for information, right? I mean,
I don't know.
That's the way I
that's what I'm
Yeah.
Brian just said, Brian, you just
That's
stated
yeah,
that
he wants
people are calling him to make reservations and he
No,
can't do anything.
People are calling him to check on reservations,
To see
and he
whether-
cannot get
he
in.
can't look up and find
can't
out.
He can't tell, yeah, he can't tell whether or not what the time they want, whether or not it's open. And I think that's what they're basically asking,
Right.
is this time available? And then he could tell them.
How are they
Whether
getting how are they getting his personal phone number? People
well,
are
they've been there
calling,
20 years, I'm sure he's
The
got.
people that's been coming to the park they must have a cell phone.
If he's actually,
because when he's in the campground, he's got the
checking out
village's phone.
inquiries for people or campers or verifying their, then he's working for the village.
When Lyle was gone out fishing in the summer, he put his cell phone number and the village cell phone number on
Okay.
there. In case you get a dead spot and you can't get through one, you can get to
people
him on
have-
the other. That's all they got is the number.
I don't think it makes any difference what he signs, if he's working for the village, if he's doing services like that for
I
the,
think we need
he's
to
working for the.
get more clarification on that from not only Brian, but the work board there that's gonna revoke our part-time staff if that's
So
the case.
clarification on that, and clarification if he's gonna be accepting Visa numbers over the phone,
Credit card or whatever.
credit card or something like
He
that.
shouldn't, he should just direct that right back to Rachel, but him having the ability to look up information, I think. would be-
That's all
I
I'm
don't think
trying
there's
to,
a problem with that, but.
that's
if
all
he's
I'm trying
gonna-
to do is give him the ability for that information. I'm not saying that he do his job, that's not what he's
I'm
asking.
not against that either, I just would wanna know all the legal stuff too, like, is there a chance that we're gonna lose our,
Okay.
that's
The
thousands
employment,
of dollars to the budget if we
the
do.
employment board is who?
I'll have to look that number up again myself, Rachel probably will be able to find it, it might even be through,
might even be on unemployment status that I had paid on.
It might, yeah. It's been a while since I've talked to him, since we established that one, so I don't remember. exactly.
So when Lyle, since he's a seasonal employee, he doesn't have access to unemployment.
Right. If we lose
See,
our
back in
season,
the old days,
they did.
they could draw unemployment.
And that's why we, that was one of the reasons
Part
that we
managers
went,
could.
that's one of the reasons we went to the seasonal employment status, is we're now not paying that unemployment cost all the time. Because we are a reimburser, not a contributor, so we got hit with that at every time when they would.
Yeah.
I believe the township went, that same route with one of their employees at one time. And it just, it saves thousands of dollars in your budget by doing that.
So we know for certain he's not taking payments if we agree.
We can stipulate that.
I feel very comfortable if we could stipulate that.
That's fine.
Stipulate that,
All I'm
or
trying to do,
information only is all he's.
that's all I'm trying to do.
Information only, I like that.
Mhm.
So with that, and in retrospect also now, to look further, does that mean that we're turning his phone back on, we're re-accessing the his hotspot,
He's not
or,
asking.
or we're just saying,
Not
we're,
asking.
He's not asking.
so we're just
Mm.
giving him access to look at the system again?
Yeah,
Correct.
All right, and we're gonna check with the legal board sites before, so should we table this till next month, so we have them answers?
We can do that.
Just agree upon it.
We can table it, or we can agree with if all of,
The
all the
stipulations are met.
stipulations are met.
Information.
He's got
Yeah.
to agree, he's got to agree to it as well, but I didn't bring it up to him until I figured out what we were gonna do.
but I think it should be done now rather than postpone, because you gotta remember, you're getting reservations
60
in
days
early.
out.
And the earlier they get them in, the better chance they have of getting
Yeah,
their
we've
spot.
got
My only concern is.
$30-some
that
thousand
if
dollars or
he is-
$40-some thousand dollars worth of reservations already.
Mhm.
What, Bill?
If he is performing a service for potential campers or campers, if they're calling him with a question and he's actually answering that question or
But
as
he's,
far as him having access to the, I don't see a problem with that. But if he's doing that service for them, then he's working for us.
but he's gonna sign something to say that he is not,
They're not gonna do
Not to
that.
be compensated for any work he chooses to do on his own accord.
basically, that's.
But he can't donate his time if it's something that we normally pay him for.
But on the other hand, it would be just like you asking a friend of yours, can you look this up for me?
No, it would be like me asking an employee to come in and do something for a customer and not paying him for it. I can't do that.
I just don't
I
see
think
it
that, I
that
think
way.
there's more legal to it than, Bill, I see what you're saying, so.
Yeah, if he's just wants access to it for his own knowledge, I don't see a problem with that, but if he's going to be performing a service for customers or potential customers, then he's working for us. No matter how well, you can't ask him to do it for free.
And if he gives somebody information.
And he can't
something
donate his time
happens
either.
or changes later, what's our liability to that? I mean, obviously.
You just-
I don't,
What do you mean he can't donate his time?
If it's something that we would normally pay him for, he can't donate his time, we have to pay it.
Well, Brian knows that he's a
It's-
seasonal employee,
it's-
right? So, I
it is.
mean, why would Brian give us that info if there wasn't potential to make this work?
I don't know
So
if
I
Brian
think we
knows.
need to find out more.
I don't know if
info.
Brian knew his season
Yes.
status.
Right.
Oh, he did know that,
That's
oh,
right.
he did know that, I told him.
Oh, okay.
And he says as long as he signed waiving his rights, basically, then fine. All I'm trying to do is gain him access to that information. So when he comes in May, he knows what's going on in
Yes,
advance.
I'm not
And if he's
against
not,
that.
if he's not performing any services, then he should be able to do that. So,
Could we make a motion that says, yes, we can give him the information as requested with the signature, and provided there's no issues with the employment board that Joe's gonna contact?
Well, that'd be kind of awesome,
Joe or Rachel or I will contact him.
And in this, I guess when we're stipulating this, this is only for him. If somebody's calling him, asking him information, he can't give them that information. He has to refer them to Rachel.
Back to the office.
So this is only for his own knowledge. So if one of his friends call and say, do I have a reservation here? He can't answer that question.
Well, no,
He
but,
has to refer them to Rachel. All he can do is look at it and see what reservations have been made.
Yeah, that would,
I mean, he
that
can't,
make me feel a lot better about it.
Okay.
I think he just wants access. I don't, he's not looking for any compensation.
no, it's not.
He's just,
But the point is, if he provides
this information.
information or service, then he's violating. So we've got to be careful there, and I understand that.
I mean, I'm not against giving him access to look at it and so he can see what's happening, but he can't perform any duties of any kind.
We could make it so that would be, you are provided this release, provided it's only for your own information, not to pass it on.
See, I don't think we'd even have to contact the board or the Fair Labor Board or whatever on that. If, as long as he is not performing any work, then he's not violating the work status.
No,
of
he's
it.
Not authorizing him to do
All it
it.
is for him to
So
follow.
we tweak Brian's words a little bit and craft that into it, and we could make it work.
Sometimes that depends on how you ask the lawyer the question. You know, if you don't ask specifically if he's performing any, then maybe they.
So we have, I believe we have a motion on the floor.
Yes,
Well, I asked if we could make a motion.
well, I made the motion,
Okay.
and it could be supported, and then we could discuss it further and decide whether or not we want to go with it.
So what was the motion?
Clarify it.
That we go ahead and give him access to this provided for his information only. How's that sound better?
That's fine.
It's informational only by him.
Information only, but he will also sign.
Sign
Yeah.
it.
Sign,
State-
sign it.
state.
Yeah,
We cannot provide any information.
I'll support that.
Been moved and supported, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
uh,
Opposed? Motion is carried. Old business. Hunting on village property. Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, we all know that it was brought to the council's attention, I believe last month, about hunting on village-owned property and the liabilities. Brian Graham presented us with a case that said, we're not at any risk. Our insurance company said, well, yes, you are if something happens. Doing a little bit of research, Natural Resource Environmental Protection Act, Act 451 from 1994. Basically, anybody who's read this, it states that as long as we are not charging a fee or restricting who can or cannot use the property, we cannot be held liable. So therefore, to put this to an end about hunting on village-owned property, we could just let it go, no promotions, we're not stopping anybody, we're not telling anybody they can. If that's, does that sound right? Like,
If we're not regulated.
as long as we're not regulated in any way, it basically says that, a cause of action should not arise against the owner, tenant, or leasee of the land premises for injuries to a person who is on that land premises for the purpose of gleaning agriculture, farming products. I believe if you go on through it says hunting, fishing, such and such, to read the whole thing, so, and it basically says we're held harmless, so. I thought that was.
That's the state law, right?
Yes, it is Natural Resources and Environmental Protection Act, Act 451 of 1994. And if you want the subtitle, go ahead. Linda, you can actually have it.
I got that.
Okay.
It's the same one that private property owners.
Yes, yep,
Covers private property owners.
yep. So, I don't think there's no action to be taken on that. It just says we don't have to act on it. Scott, does that clear up what's brought to your attention?
I just heard it 30 seconds ago. I was wondering why it's a surprise tonight. I don't know, I haven't even looked at it yourself, so. Well, I guess I'm not gonna read it right now, right?
Well, so,
So two
Well, I guess
guys
my
are out
question is-
hunting on village property and one shoots the other and we're not on the hook.
no, exactly. That's what that says.
And our property is considered private property?
Pardon me?
And our property is considered private property?
It's any, the liability of a landowner, And I believe it does state in here somewhere about, municipal properties or public properties like that.
Or other public trail, including agricultural farm. It includes, yeah.
It does have the, unless the injuries were caused by gross negligence or willful and wanton misconduct, owner of the tenant or leasing, is there anything the village could do that could,
I guess if we put a barbed wire fence across it or something, and somebody was riding a four-wheeler through there, they could say we were right, I would think, but I don't think we're not maliciously putting anything there to harm somebody.
Well, if I would've saw this earlier, I could've asked Brian what he thought of it, how it related to the conversation we had, so.
Well, we can, we're not taking any action on it.
Yeah, we're not taking any action, no need to take any action.
Sure.
We'll just pursue it. If you wanna pursue it further,
No, I just
From
wanted
him,
to
that's
bring it to
fine.
attention, but I just make sure that Brian's aware
Yeah.
that if that is in fact applicable to village-owned property, then I'm okay with that too.
Okay. Yeah, because I just emailed Rachel the other day to put packets.
Yeah, but I don't get a packet until I grab one of them.
we'll move on, personnel evaluation forms.
And again, you guys asked last month just to have a basic personal evaluation form. I grabbed a very blank one again, sent it to Rachel, and she put it in everybody's packet.
I do know that there are more elaborate ones.
Oh, yeah.
I also have had time to think about this, and it's probably not a bad idea to have a yearly review, supervisors reviewing employees, and then myself evaluating supervisors. It ought to be written into our employee manual that it will be included. From my perspective, that ought to be in that, so if we decide we want to follow through with this, then that change ought to be made in the employee policy manual.
It may be in
I don't think it is. I read it.
there. I thought I had seen it at one time, but we agreed with policy.
And there again, I don't think there's no action required. We can put it on the agenda next month to say that we will implement it. And we can tweak our forms, find some different forms if we don't like this or whatever.
Yeah, that's more what I brought this one for, was just here's a basic form. Maybe let Sam and Scott, well, Scott's got his own, obviously, he uses for his.
Well, just for my employees, not for me personally.
Right, but
I mean, I
maybe-
guess if you're gonna look at it, it'd be nice to see it myself.
Right, you guys might have some input of stuff that's more job related for you guys that would help us.
Park grant, old business. December 9th, our last meeting, at 5:15, I had a conversation with Christy Bass, who is the DNR person, our contact person. I explained to her our situation with respect to having to abandon Lake Street or change the plat that Lake Street is on. She said then, now that she understood the situation a little bit better, she would take it to her boss the next day, and I haven't heard back from her, except the contract that was signed a year ago on our end was signed by them on the 10th and sent to us, which we received on the 11th or 12th or somewhere in there. But, and that has nothing in that that says that we have to change the plat, which is good. So I got on the phone with Jennifer Hodges Monday, again yesterday and again today, and said she's been trying to contact Christie to make sure that we can proceed and not get caught with asking for bids and then turn around and them saying that we have to do this. But I said, it seems to me if they were gonna require us to do that, it would have been stipulated in the document that they signed on December 10th. And she says that's logical, but I'm still gonna try to get ahold of Christie, and so that's where we're standing. But I think we are gonna be able to proceed and ask for bids for the park grant, and hopefully, by what I read and whatever, we can try to get this done before the end of May. But that's where we stand currently.
It'd be nice to have the bathhouse moving in before then.
So as soon as Jennifer Hodges gets back with me to say that she is confirmed with Christie Bass, then we should be able to send her on her way and get her job done, so.
So you didn't have a meeting then? Or no, this is a phone conversation?
These are 3 phone calls.
Oh,
And
I thought you said you had a meeting, Ava.
Well, we did meet down there with her at the park.
Jennifer,
Yeah.
yeah, that long before.
It was this summer.
Oh, okay.
That was still more about it, but it was.
All right.
Is when she was there.
Is it when it was raining out?
Yeah. You were
Okay.
there. You were there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
we talked about that. The background.
DPW pickup, Sam, you got your numbers?
Pardon?
Yeah, DPW pickup, I said, you have your numbers?
Well, I just got, 2014, we bought the new truck, we paid $24,745. We bought the Boss plow, mounted on the truck, $5,393. I checked on a 2016 truck, comparable to what I'm driving now, $26,500 for a brand new one. The new V plow, Boss Pro V, is around $6,200. Private sale on the truck I'm driving right now is about between $25,000 and $26,000. And now you got the plow sitting on it, I don't know what that's worth, I figured $4,000 additional. So you're looking at about $30,000 to ask for the package.
So if we add the two together, the 26,000 and the 6,200 for the plow, we're looking at 32,5.
Them are rough numbers too.
Roughly.
For the used one.
For,
For brand new
no,
one.
that would be for the brand new one.
Yeah,
We
I'm
sell ours
sorry,
for
you're saying the used came out, Kelly
26.7.
Blue Book at 30.
Sam, what did you say it was, 27 what for 2015?
What were you asking me?
27,000 for?
2016, new pickups, $26,500.
And what was it,
This one here, we paid $24,745. Because I missed an option on this one, so I added it onto the new one, that's all.
So if you're figuring, 26,000 for your truck right now, plus 4,000 with the plow on it, we're looking at roughly 30,000 for your truck if we sell it outright. We're gonna pay 32,000 for another brand new truck.
37
But,
with a new blade.
but the next thing I will go back to you
32
and,
was that blade.
32?
I will say-
Sorry, you're right.
So we're gonna spend $2,000 extra for
Get a new
truck
truck.
with.
but I will tell you this, you're trying to sell something for $30,000 used. I can go to the dealership and buy a brand new one for 5 years at 0% interest. If I borrow the money, which in Central Lake, odds are you're gonna have to borrow the money because we know the money's not there. For somebody to buy my truck, is gonna go pay 4 to 6% interest from a bank to borrow it.
Right.
I don't think you can sell that truck for $30,000 in the village of Central Lake. That's where I'm at.
And they were about the same numbers.
Those are the same numbers
I did not have a chance to look into this.
Yeah, for a new one, the best interest rate I could get was 0.99%. And I loaded my truck up. It's 42,000. I came up to 681 a month at 3,000 down. But even on a used one, with Kelly Blue Book on a used XLT, 28 grand, 3,000 down, 25,000, 3.11%, you're at 450 a month for 60 months. That's a big nut.
How many
That
miles
was
are on
Kelly
the truck
Blue
you
Book,
have
though.
now?
What?
How many miles on the truck you have now?
25 now,
25?
25,000.
And what year is that truck?
So, why
14.
are we selling it?
14.
When we initially started, the one
No, I know, I see that, but I mean, if the potential to sell it for 30 grand is not really there, there's only 25,000 on the truck, why not drive it for a couple more years and then sell it?
You know, when we first thought about this, it was a wonderful idea, but we didn't bother to sit back and think when we bought that, if we get rid of it in, 2.5 years like we talked about, somebody's gonna pay interest to finance that truck. Now it takes it out of the ballpark. I can go buy a brand new one at 0%, or like Rob said, 0.99. I bought my car at 0.99. That's used.
To get $30,000 out of that truck,
You have to have 0 miles
it'd be
on
pretty
it.
difficult around here. Couldn't sell a police car.
Didn't have a following.
It was silver too.
So, if we did decide to sell the truck, this $2,560 difference, is that in the budget already, or is this extra money that's gotta
That
come
would-
out, or we
that would
planned on
come
it, or?
from the equipment fund if we did it.
Yeah.
So we got the money, that's
The
not a
money,
big
yeah,
deal.
that's why we have an equipment fund, but, you know, putting all the numbers together, even if we took a little bit of a loss by selling the truck that Sam's in now and equate that to $1,000 a year of usage, right now the truck's not costing the same thing, so it's not a big deal, but once you start putting money into it, now your operating expense is increasing, and that's when these other trucks become more of their value at that time.
How long do
Sam,
our
I think, really
warranties
wants to
last?
stay in his truck, and so
How
that's
long
what they
do our
wanna
warranties
do.
last?
3 year.
So we got one more year of warranty left?
6 months.
6 months of warranty?
Because we buy them half a year
If
now.
you do, you any interest in maybe do?
What's the harm in waiting till April when there's no more snow, we need it for plowing? Put it out there for $30,000, and if we sell it, and then we're out of truck for a couple of weeks, then we get a new truck. If, on the
Well, it's not
off
a
chance
couple
that
weeks,
somebody does.
we order these 6 months in advance.
6 months.
Yeah, it took 8 months to get that one, I think.
And then you also look at, the longer we hold on to it, the less value you have in the warranty package that's gonna roll on with the new buyer.
More potential somebody to buy that plow.
Right, there's
We
a,
said
there's
there's
an
only
8 month
6 months
warranty right now
left,
that
so
can
who's
transfer.
gonna buy a truck?
It's got a 3-year on it, so there's,
He
It
says
says 6 months left.
There's,
there's only
we bought it in
6
September, so go from now to September, that's how many months are left on it.
Okay.
We took delivery of it in September,
8 months.
so it's got 8 months left on the warranty.
September of 2014,
Yes, okay. 13,
13.
Can the plow that's on it go on to a new truck?
certainly.
So we don't have to buy a plow?
You still gotta buy a frame to put the plow on.
Right.
Yeah,
but
and a wiring harness.
And then you gotta pay somebody to wire it, so now you're almost back to, and the value in your trucks with your brand new P plow. But that's reality. For the discount we purchase them for,
You might just drive the thing till it dies.
That's what we did with the last one.
Serious, I mean,
Or
why?
until it's a marketable truck,
Yeah,
until
just
people
drive it till
can
it's
actually buy it.
affordable for someone. You like the truck, Sam, right? It serves you good?
I guess
You want a new truck?
I would say, no, I don't want a new truck. That truck's plenty of pickup. It's more than enough truck to do whatever I need. It will last till I retire, if you want the truth. That's not very long, Leila, trust me. I would say if we're gonna think about doing this, the thing to do is get rid of that half-ton pickup. Because my guys absolutely hate that extended cab, 8-foot box, half-ton pickup. They hate it. Takes a football field to turn it around, you can't get in and out of driveways with it. If you're gonna try to get rid of one and do it, try that one and see how it goes.
You wanna bring us prices on that for next month and whatever truck you would wanna go into?
Totally up to you guys. If we went into another truck, I'd go right back into one like this one. The one that I'm driving now. Because that's not an 8-foot box and it's not a full, you've gotta remember that other truck's a full quad cab.
Right.
And it's a half-ton, it's a more sellable 4-wheel drive pickup. And it has every option on it that it's made.
So we'll look at, going and look at selling,
Yeah.
look at selling the half-ton, see what the prices are, and bring that back next
Well,
month.
the half-ton you can sell for what you bought it for.
And we know that the 26,000 is still.
And
what
it's
you're
got
gonna pay for
8,000
now.
miles on it.
Well, what's the
How many?
halftime
8,000.
go for?
Steve and Jeff absolutely hate that truck.
What do you think the other truck, do you have an idea what it might sell for?
The sticker was 41 on it when we bought it.
So we're gonna say, and it's a year.
And it's a year newer than the one I'm driving right now, it's only got 8,000 miles on it. You're gonna, I think as a half-ton pickup, you'll sell it for $25,000, easily. And we paid $24,900 for it.
With no extras.
Sam, this truck that you quoted us, the new price, that was for another Ford?
That's a Ford 3/4 ton
Okay.
super cab, or
Okay.
whatever they call that,
So
half
if
cab,
we did sell the,
with a 6/8 box.
we could do a wash on that one if it worked. So,
And then we
let's
still,
look at them numbers and come back next month with this.
Okay, I agree to that one.
Generator, old business, we got bids. One bid, that's basically been discussed, I think. Anybody else have anything with it?